Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk for your favorite sports fam. I'm Big Q. I'm up in this thing. Shout out to the Great Saint Think Tank. Appreciate the family members chiming in on this Patreon Tuesday. Listen, fam, this is a quick one. I'm gonna shoot to the Who Dat Nation. Then, of course, at 7:30 is a TSC Q&A live on Patreon, and we'll have several other reactions as well as observations for today's camp and news, cuts, all that type of stuff on Patreon today. So if you want to join that, feel free to become a member of the channel. Just hit that join button on the platform's original page, the first page, or either go to patreon.com/the Pro Media Network to sign up, get access to tons of unlocked content by yours truly in the platform. So with that being said, I appreciate you, family, for being in this very rare Tuesday stream, man. I know y'all don't often see or hear from me on Tuesdays, man, but shout out to the fam, man, because I'm up in this thing. We're going to react to this, to Stephen A. Smith and what he's been saying about the Who Dat Nation. We're going to react to the latest one in this thing. So with that being said, let's get it going. Feel free to hit the like button, fam. Hit the subscribe button as we get going in this thing. Here we go.
Is it the Bucs or the Saints?
Oh, it's the New Orleans Saints. It's the Saints, Molly Q. And listen, this would not be a conversation if Tampa wasn't dealing with these offensive line issues. Might I add, when their offensive line was intact, the Saints beat them as well. So
I'm sorry, fam. I'm so sorry, man. I don't know how I muted my damn self, but I appreciate you. Thank you. Listen, I was about to go off right quick. All right. Thank you. All right. So with that being said, man, let me tell y'all something, man. As I muted myself by mistake. All right, so shout out to the fam, man. I appreciate y'all. Let me say this, is that the reality to the situation when we dealing with what Marcus Spears was talking about, we have to stop. We can't let that go on. We have to stop that right in this press. Said no. You can't spit that. I did it with Mr. Teefs, what's his name, Sam Ocho, the other live stream, when we were talking about the offensive line issues to the Tampa Bay squad right now. Ali Marpet, one of their better offensive linemen, retiring. Alex Kappa went to, I think it was the Browns. He left free agency wise. Then they had another injury that occurred. So you have some stuff that's going on with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offensive line. And then of course the talking point with Ocho, and now kind of Marcus kind of hit on that thing before he corrected himself, was because of the offensive line issues, the Saints would then have an opportunity to dethrone the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, sir. Absolutely not. No, sir. No, absolutely not. No, sir at all. All right. So, I mean, y'all hearing me, fam? Are y'all hearing me correctly? All right, are y'all hearing me? Put one in the chat if y'all can hear me, man. But listen, my thing is this with it, and I'm gonna play it back because I ain't played that much of it. But understand and know this is that when you were healthier, and listen, I think there team was better last year than what I'm seeing right now. And the issue is like we was looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last year they had a more, like I said, a better offensive unit in my opinion. But we still was able to just take this team apart. We took them apart. You know, we took them. We have absolutely no, listen, when you play somebody 5 times and they beat you 4 of the 5 times, they got something on you. They understand how to take you apart. They understand, yeah, you know, there's a dynamic going on here where they understand how, and they have not only understanding, because understanding is one thing, but you also have to have the personnel to be able to then utilize whatever people you have on the field along with the intellect and the scheme to be able to beat that team. Like, a lot of people can understand what they're doing, but very few people can actually go out there and prevent them from doing what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? You can know all the time, but that don't mean just because you know you can stop them. You also have to have the guys on the ground to get it. We got both of them, bottom line. So when they say something about the offensive line is the issue and why the Saints can surmount the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beat and lead in the NFC South, that's not true. That's totally incorrect thinking. So let me speed it back again, fam. And
Is
y'all
it
put
the
one to check. Y'all can
Bucs
hear that
or the
pretty good.
Saints?
Oh, it's the New Orleans Saints. It's the Saints, Molly Q. And listen, this would not be a conversation if Tampa wasn't dealing with these offensive line issues. Might I add, when their offensive line was intact, the Saints beat them as well.
Himself.
So
There you go.
it's not like I'm throwing something out there that
himself.
hasn't happened already or that's a figment of people's imagination. The Saints have owned the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the regular season since Tom Brady has been there. Jameis Winston coming back. They signed Jarvis Landry. They drafted Chris Olave. Michael Thomas is going to be back. People forget about how dominant Michael Thomas is. People are thinking like he's been off for a year. We don't know what he's going to be. I'm going to tell you what he's going to be. He's going to come fit right back in this offense and continue to make Jameis Winston the quarterback that we all thought he could be without giving the football away, as he turned that down last year. And then defensively, they signed Tyrann Mathieu. The Honey Badger will be in the secondary. This defense is already good. This defense is already considered one of the best defenses in the NFL. And all of the things that's going on with Tampa. Tom Brady just took an 11-day hiatus from camp. They losing all their offensive linemen in droves. There is no one returning on this offensive line that played in the Super Bowl outside of Tristan Wirfs. And everybody is acting like, oh, it's fine. Tom Brady, the quarterback. Last time I checked, when we did first take the week leading up to the Super Bowl, when Tampa and Kansas City played, and we had Patrick Mahomes with a Superman cape on, his offensive line was trash, and everybody remember what happened. So I don't know why the calming presence is over people about this offensive line situation in Tampa. Go ahead, bro.
Let me stop it right there before all of the BS flows downhill. Number one, that's a great analogy by Marcus, as he was able to clean up his initial point. Thank you, Tano, for the super chat, fam. Yeah, he contradicted himself. Then you have to think about that thing, walk it back to understand. Hold on here. It wasn't just the offensive line issues that the Saints were able to handle the business with this team prior to that, and in the 5 matchups that Tampa quarterback, Tampa Bay, whatever you want to call him, TB12, was Thomas Patrick Edward Brady, as they call him, was the guy there. The Saints have beaten him 4 out of 5 times. All of that is factual information that he put up. He didn't have to gather for anything. All he used was looking at the season, looking at statistics, and then using his ability to forecast and go ahead. Michael Thomas is a guy dealing with a hamstring issue right now, but Michael Thomas is what I thought that the Saints would have him on a ramped up cycle anyway going into the season. That's why Jarvis Landry is here. How often do we have to keep throwing these points about what the Saints are doing just off of GP? Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave is here because of Mike Thomas, and they are a compliment to him. And if he has to be slowly incremented into the offseason, then so be it. You see what I'm saying? You still have more than enough talent to crush anybody. Jarvis Landry and Chris Olave and Mike Thomas have been absolutely extraordinary in the preseason and in training camp. I heard the PFF Soft Boys was talking about, oh, he hadn't played any preseason games. You're not going to play in any preseason games if you Mike Thomas, you dumb. I don't even get into it. But you're not going to play. Jameis and these guys are not going to play in no preseason games, man, especially if they're dealing with injuries. That's just common sense. Come on. But the reality is that everything Marcus Spears said was straight on point. He was a spear of truth on that one. I got to give it to him. Even corrected himself. All right, so let's hear what this frothing moron with the retreating hairline has to say about the black and gold, because you can hit this dude with facts upon facts upon facts, but his concrete, inefficient, antiquated ass thinking will not allow you to educate him on what it is, and he's constantly wrong all the time. I hear New York people getting on this guy about his calls about the New York Knicks that he's not. I mean, he he gets smoked on a regular. Just a moron, man.
The Saints winning the NFC South this year.
First of all, a couple of things. First of all, a couple of things.
Let's hear it, dummy.
Let's not bring up they got problems. They got problems with Tom Brady. He was out. Listen, the man is 45 years old. He's 22 years in the NFL. He's got 7 rings. Everybody sit down.
7 rings.
If he want to take some time off, he can do that. Sit down. Sit down.
No.
He's Tom Brady.
No.
He's Tom.
If Drew Brees did that and took 11 days off of training camp, these people would be like, they'd be throwing up the signs and everything, sounding the horns and everything. But TB12, just because he got 7 rings, he could do whatever the hell he want to do. It's pretty much what this moron's saying, man. You know, he could do whatever he want to do. He can miss all that and still come back and win games without practicing. He's TB12. He's Thomas Patrick Edward Brady, for goodness sake.
He decided to come back.
Hey, sit down. You go to work, okay? He gets to sit down, all right? Because we know he going to put in the work. We know he going to produce. We know he going to be better than 95% of the quarterbacks.
And then there he goes, cheerleader. The only thing you need to give Stephen A. Smith is some pom-poms and a cheerleader skirt. That's all you need right there. That's all you need. A cheerleader skirt and some pom-pom. Boy, how he jiffing for that, boy.
The National Football League. Sit down. I mean, the resume that he has is incomparable. Sit down. All right? He want to take some time off, want to be in the Bahamas or wherever the hell he want to be. I mean, that's a good reason to be off. I'm not hating on that. Very, very wise decision. I mean, whatever it takes to motivate him, I'm good with that. So let's stop it. That's number 1. Number 2.
Shout out, fam. Good to see
y'all. On your argument about the New Orleans Saints.
You can't throw shade, dummy.
I know you can't.
Right. Can't throw no shade.
Don't interrupt me. I'm not
finished. I know you can't.
I know. I mean, Chris Olave, that brother can ball. I like him. Michael Thomas, he already got a hamstring injury. I just want to remind you that. He already got a hamstring injury. You know that, right? I'm just saying, he got a hamstring injury. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those are the kind of things that tend to linger. That's why you laughing, because you know it's telling the truth. You know, I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
He hasn't ran like that.
Okay, let me stop right there. That's totally classist, first of all. Totally classist to sit up here and specify that he has a hamstring issue. He wasn't talking like that when Mike was running around the field, dominating it. Now that he'd been running and he got a hamstring tweak there that is, according to the word on the street, is not significant. But it is totally tasteless for him to be just repeating that over and over again like that's something good. That's tasteless, man. This is a classless chump. And I keep telling y'all that. A classless hairline receding chump for sitting up here smiling and sniggling and giggling over the fact that Michael Thomas has a hamstring issue, taking delight in the fact that the man is hurt. Did you hear what I just said? Did you hear what I just said? This chump is sitting up here taking delight, sniggling and giggling at the fact that Michael Thomas tweaked his hamstring. What kind of dude is this here? Brother Prime shout out say this fool is step and fetch it. Oh man, you brought it back on that one, bro. But did y'all hear that? This dude sit up in here sniggling and giggling that Michael Thomas tweaked his hamstring. Did you hear that? That's totally classless, tacky, and totally trash by a trash, garbage, big mouth commentator, man. Totally classless. Sitting up here sniggling and giggling over the man having an injury.
I know. I mean, Chris Olave, that brother can ball. I like him. Michael Thomas, he already got a hamstring injury. I just want to remind you that. He already got a hamstring injury. You know that, right? I'm just saying, he got a hamstring injury. You know what I'm saying? I mean, those are the kind of things that tend to linger. That's why you laughing, because you know it's telling the truth. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. We don't know.
He hasn't ran
He'll
like
be fine.
that.
Excuse me.
He'll be fine.
I did not. See, that's how Molly, see how your girl act right there, Swag Goop. She said, Steven, he hasn't ran like that in a while. He running like that now. He running like that now.
Am I right? He's been
He's
sidelined.
sore.
Of course, Molly.
Yeah.
We all
He's
know
sore,
this. We all know this.
So I'm just.
Time out.
Yeah.
Is he going to have to
He's
run like
fine.
that?
He's
Hold on.
sore.
Since Molly wanted to interrupt me real quickly, is he going to
I know Jalen Rose turning around on his commentator chair about right now.
have to run like that once the season starts? He got hamstring injury, Molly. Is he going to have to run like that when the season starts?
Yes.
The answer
Just
would be
playing
yes. So
devil's
stop
advocate.
it. He's got to run. He's got to run. That's what it is.
Guess what?
That boy.
After your shoulder.
That boy taking delight in Mike's hamstring issue. That's low, man. That's so low, but that ain't low for a snake and a scumbag like this guy. Man.
Thing and you get out there running, you're gonna hit both your hamstrings. So just get ready for it.
Right? So here's the deal, right? So we got that going on, all right? Thank God I sit down when I work for a living. Here's the number 3 point. I know Alvin Kamara can ball and all of this other stuff. I'm not going to bring up the fact that you got Leonard Fournette returning, Chris Godwin returning, Mike Evans returning. You picked up Julio Jones, who I still think's got something left, and I think with Tom Brady throwing him the football instead of Ryan Tannehill, I think that he's going to be just fine. Okay, so now let's get to back to the Saints. Here's number 3 point. I know Alvin Kamara can ball and all of this other stuff. I'm not going to bring up the fact that you got Leonard Fournette returning, Chris Godwin returning, Mike Evans returning. You picked up Julio Jones, who I still think's got something left, and I think with Tom Brady throwing him the football instead of Ryan Tannehill.
Let's stop it right there. You got Leonard Fournette coming back. Shout out to Leonard Fournette, man. Alvin Kamara. For everything that you said, I'm going to say this. Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara. Nothing wrong with him. Been in shape the entire damn time. Chris Godwin, love him. Excellent wide receiver. Mike Evans, tough receiver. Well respected, deserves more respect. But for your Mike Evans, Julio Jones, and Chris Godwin, I give you Mike Thomas, Jarvis Landry, and Chris Olave. And I disagree. I don't think Julio Jones don't have anything. I don't think he has that much to offer before he goes down again. With the problem with Julio, he can't stay healthy. So no, man, keep it stepping.
I think that he's gonna be just fine. Okay, so now let's get to back to the Saints.
That's it.
They got weapons all over the place. Saints defense. This conversation ain't about y'all. This conversation ain't about y'all. I know what y'all are. I know what y'all bring to the table. Saints defense. I ain't talking about y'all. Alvin Kamara, I ain't talking about you. Michael Thomas, hamstring it all. As long as your hamstring healthy, I ain't worried about you either.
That's the same dude he just got you sniggling and giggling about, by the way. This ain't about you. Oh, it ain't about you as long as your hamstring fine, but what you laughing at it for? That's tasteless. This a snake here, a backstabbing snake. Let's hear the rest of it.
Chris Olave, I believe in you.
Here he go.
But don't they have to have somebody throwing them that football? That would happen to be Jameis Winston. Now check this out. We saw Jameis Winston in 7 games last year. He had 14 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions in 7 games. That's obviously a vast improvement. That was back page news considering the time before that we saw him. He was throwing 30 interceptions in the season. Okay, that's what he did.
Stop bringing up old stuff. That's old stuff.
No, what are you talking about? It matters. It matters. It's film. Old stuff matters. It's film. It's film. That's evidence, okay?
See the tackiness? What he does is he gives Jameis the fort. You can't smile down on Jameis. You can't stab back on Jameis. 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You can't do that. Then that's a vast improvement than what we seen when he was the quarterback and he threw 30 interceptions. And the context here is this. You got Jameis, Tampa Bay Jameis. You got St. Jameis. What's the difference? The difference is scheme. The difference is environment. When he was in Tampa Bay, that was not a very good environment. It was unstable. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Coach Payton as a better offensive mind than Bruce Arians could ever hope to wish to be. But that is never brought into focus when they talk about the differences between Jameis's 33 touchdowns, 30 interception year and the Saints year when he started last year, 14 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions. No context. Context is different systems, different environments. The Saints, he's a lot more efficient and better quarterback in this environment. That's never said because this nincompoop doesn't have the ideology to understand the difference and such. He thinking in his stupid, balding mind that all systems are similarly the same. It is not the case. Environment matters, and where you go matters. And in terms of what you learn and in the scheme that you're in, you could have a lot more success in this scheme versus the other scheme because they're a lot more disciplined. They have more weapons around. It's a lot of things that tend to enter that equation. But the mere fact that you contract in these two different environments, comparing them without putting that information in there makes you an underhanded, balding bastard for doing that.
Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions. Now, he threw for 5,109 yards, but he threw and 33 touchdowns, but he threw 30 interceptions. What I'm saying is, you combine that with the fact that Sean Payton ain't there now, and we see what Dennis Allen brings to the table.
That matters.
Let me tell you what he brings to the table, because listen, and then Swagger says,
all I'm saying is that matters.
That matters, this matters. Let me educate you on this. Number one, and we talk about this all the time here. We do show after show talking about these are the same talking points. To keep saying that you're a sneaky dark horse team, insulting you. Dark horses, that to me, that's an insult to me. To say that you're a sneaky team to sneak up on people is an insult to me, because the Saints are not sneaking. They're not dark horse team. The Saints are a contending team sitting in your face as one of the top 5 teams in this here NFL. They're a top 5 team in the NFL. They are a contender, and anything less than that as a reference is an insult to the entire Who Dat Nation and the Great Saint Think Tank. Bottom line. If no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The thought process that, number one, Jameis Winston is the issue, and that he threw 14 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions in the Saints system should not have you given all these questions, being that you keep going several years back. Number one, let's look at it in the interest of time. Jameis Winston has been here for 3 years now. 3 years now he's been here. So that means he's had an opportunity to absorb 3 years of Coach Payton's system. That's one thing. Number two is this, and this is all factual. Number two is this. How would Jameis Winston look in a full season with the Saints? If he remains healthy, he will have probably some of his best numbers. Why? Because of the aforementioned wide receiver tandem. The Saints offensive line is totally talented. Alvin Kamara is not going to see suspension, according to reports, anytime soon. So that gives him the running game. Mark Ingram is rested. Not to mention, we talk about the wide receiver room, which is totally ridiculous. Even if you ramp up Michael Thomas, you still got the effect from last year. The fact that we had our young wide receivers play so many hot game reps gives them an opportunity to mature faster, and we can count on them this year. Deontay Harty is going to play better. Callaway, and we have some weapons there. Taysom Hill ultimately will become healthy. Troutman will be a big part of the game as well. So the Saints offense is very, very, very talented and poised for something great in this upcoming year. The mere fact you don't have to leapfrog 3 years ago to keep questioning whether Jameis Winston could keep his touchdowns down when he did it last year. 14 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. You don't have a case there. And then, of course, let's move on to the Sean Payton comment about Sean Payton. Number one, Sean Payton, we know what Coach Payton did. He made the leap to the commentating table and to talk about games on Sunday, which is fine, or whenever they play them, which is fine. Now, for the Who Dat Nation, that was one of the best things that Coach Payton could have did if he didn't want to coach here anymore. Moving him out of him taking a job to be a commentator was one of the best things that happened to the Who Dat Nation, because he didn't want to be here, and I'll tell you why. And I've said this before for those who know. Number one, he left in a way which totally helped the New Orleans Saints offense, because number one, he didn't leave with any of them assistants. Now, this is a better route for him to have taken in terms of for the Saints' progress in the offensive room, because simply when he took the commentator job versus taking a job with another football team, he would have pilfered offensive assistants, defensive assistants, special teams people, and everybody he felt he needed to go to whatever team that he was going to go to. Now, don't get me wrong. He still could do that once he makes his mind up to come back to football, which more than likely, according to reports, would be next year. But in terms of this year, he left all of these offensive people who've been running that system with him for years in that building with Dennis Allen. Pete Carmichael is one of his top acolytes, not named Drew Brees. And on numerous occasions, Coach Payton has given high praise to Pete Carmichael and several of his offensive assistants for the job they help build that offense in that building. So when you talk about a great coach like Coach Payton leaving and going elsewhere and going talk about the game and leaving all of those assistants and that brain trust in that building with Dennis Allen, with Jameis in that familiar system and all those wide receivers that been in that same system, you talking about the fact that the New Orleans Saints, that was one of the best things that can happen offensively as opposed to them having to recreate an offensive identity. Pete Carmichael is well aware of how to run that system. And word on the street is, like we talked about this before, is that Pete Carmichael has more of a personal relationship with Jameis Winston, where he is getting Jameis's input on the offensive plays that he's comfortable with, and then bringing that into the offense and running those plays that Jameis is comfortable with, as opposed to Coach Payton fitting plays and say, you're going to run this, we're going to run that. When Jameis got the money, they kind of tailored that suit a bit. They just didn't go off and say, we're going to go over here to Mervin's or somewhere and buy a suit off the rack. No, we went to the tailor. And we're going to fit this jacket and this suit for you here, Jameis. We're going to do it like that. So that's the commentating on Coach Payton. Coach Payton is a great coach, offensively speaking, and what he brought to the Saints, no doubt about that. But if he leaves and you have Carmichael, who was there with him for years, well over a decade, who's not offensive coordinator, who was doing that job when Coach Payton was here, man, I feel 1,000% better about that. And there'll be some differences in how the offenses look, but you won't be the Saints gonna throw that deep ball more. You're gonna see that play action, that power I formation. And I think you won't see as much as Coach Payton's plays where it kind of pisses you off, those plays where he be doing the end around on 4th down in those plays. Like, why the hell he did that? Like the butcher and the valet and the candlestick maker and all these people asking him in the store, why you did that on it? Well, you don't tell me nothing. I'm the coach of the Saints. Remember that? You ain't gonna hear all of that. So anyway, man, let's finish up with this dude, man.
That matters. So when I look at that and then I juxtapose that to Tom Brady being there with familiar weapons. Cameron Brady's your tight end. He ain't a stranger. He ain't Gronk, but he ain't no stranger to Tom Brady. Cameron Brady can ball. So you got that tight end target. You got Leonard Fournette, not just running the football, but coming out of the backfield. We know what kind of heart he's got. We know what he brings to the table. Mike Evans, are we ever going to give this brother enough love? Are we ever going to sit here and go like this? Man, don't say much.
He deserves more.
Man, don't say much. The only critique, do you realize that the only insult that we could throw in Mike Evans' direction is that, damn, you could comb that afro from time to time. That's about it.
Well, at least he got an afro to comb. And that's number one. Number two is this. First and foremost, Dennis Allen, you don't know what Dennis Allen going to look like. I don't know what the hell Todd Bowles is going to look like in Tampa Bay. Can we talk about that for a second? Well, Coach Payton's not there, but neither is Bruce Arians. I mean, my good, you won't talk about somebody who can't rationalize across the line, that's so blinded by their stupid ass commentary that they can't make the cross parallels. That's a part about understanding what you're dealing with. You just can't look at your side of the fence and say, well, this is what it is over here. And no, they're just significantly better over there. Number one is this. The Saints got a new coach. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers got a new coach. You don't know what Dennis Allen going to do. I don't know what Todd Bowles is going to do. That's number one. Number two is that there are differences all across the board. The same similar is real eerie that some of the transitions that the Saints are going through, the Buccaneers are going through. So there is not a clear line of definition where you can say what they got going on is significantly better than what the Who Dat Nation got going on. One of their receivers are coming off of major injury. You wasn't sniggling and giggling when you was talking about him. You're not sitting up here advocating for Mike Thomas, who holds the single season catch record that nobody has. The record set up there for over 15 years, set by a Hall of Famer. Thomas took it down. You don't hear him advocating for why is Michael Thomas not getting more credit. Come on. You're going to sit here and talk about Leonard Fournette? Now, listen, I love Leonard Fournette, man. But listen, come on, bro. Leonard Fournette and Alvin Kamara, man. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? You don't sit up here and advocate for respect for Michael Thomas for Mike Evans, while Michael Thomas is sitting over here getting disrespect constantly. You sitting up here, matter of fact, you sitting up here sniggling and giggling because he has an injury that he's hurt. And gonna talk about respect? You crazy dog, you. This is why, and now I took a little time. I got 15 minutes, and then I'm up out of here. I'm going on over to the Patreon to talk to the family. We're gonna cover the rest of this Saints stuff for today. But I just had to talk about this because this is one of the things. This is one of the way we roast these morons, idiots, chumps, and assholes. Because number one, not only do I show the faulty conversation here and it's obvious bias why your opinion is that way, which you shouldn't be even in that sphere. If you're supposed to be a unbiased, tell it like it is, man, a straight up and down the line guy that puts this over here and then makes the parallels and the comparisons to find out who's the best here, because the name of the situation is, the name of the show is, which team wins the NFC South, the Bucs or the Saints? Which team wins? And your commentary doesn't help people to differentiate or find out exactly who wins. So how do we find out who wins? Well, do we go from a historical reference, which history is always a good indicator of future events? Sometimes, majority of the time, they are. Saints are 4-1 against this team. This team, to me, is a significantly reduced team than what it was, both defensively and offensively. Team means Tampa. TB12 is a year older in the system. He can't move around that well, and you got a offensive line that's missing components there, means it's going to be some problems. But you omit all of that about the really obvious point that his offensive line is in shambles, and that you talk about and mention, this is how crazy and not put together his arguments are. We know what his own words about the Saints defense is that I know who you are. Did he not say that? Put one in the chat if you heard this guy say that. We know who you are. This is not about the Saints defense. This is not about the Kamara or Michael Thomas if you hamstring right, Jarvis Landry, Tyrann Mathieu. This is not about you. This is not about you. But dummy, the same defense who you say you know who they are will be the defense that runs through that line. It will run through that line. You got a line that is missing, and they got young people there that don't know exactly what they're doing, that wasn't there, that's going to take a long time to listen. You don't have several weeks or 3 or 4 or even a month to get ready for the Saints. The Saints will be seeing this team in the second week of the season. We'll be seeing them in the second week of the season. Look at all them ones right there. So you, by his own admission, says the Saints defense are real deal. You don't think that real deal defense is going to get to Tom Brady in a line that's missing that much offensively speaking? This is the kind of commentary that you can't even put together a rational commentary. His own words and his own deeds, his own words and his own things that he's saying is contradicting his argument. And what it does is exposing his bias toward this team. It's too much QB. It's too much Tom Brady bias. That's what's going on. Tom Brady is a man. He's just a man. He put his goddamn shoes on and socks and pants and shirt on just like every other person out there. Same way. And you eventually, Father Time catches up to us all. You don't think next year, Father Time that's coming in the personage of the New Orleans Saints defense will catch up with him several times next year. And not only the Saints, but any incarnation of defenses that have decent pass rushers that will emulate what the Saints do, because that's the sticker and the kicker is that they're going to emulate how to get to Tom Brady. You knock Tom Brady around, you knock the gust out of them people. We already seen that. When you put Tom Brady on the ground and you fluster him, it takes all of the will out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nobody else have that energy. Thank you, Tano. He says, how can I watch your Patreon? You just simply, you can sign up. You can go to the link tree, bro. Go to the link tree, hit the link in the link tree and go to the Patreon, and you can sign up there, or you can sign up as a YouTube member. Either way, bro, you can be able to access the show, and we'll be going live in about 10 minutes. But, you know, I don't have to sit up here all day, and it's fun. The lamb-based Stephen A. Smith, it really is. It really is fun. I bullcrap you not. But at the end of the day, I don't have to just talk about his hairlining and his loud mouth, his barbershop loud mouth, and attempt to overtalk you and get louder than you because his facts are not as profound as your facts. The reality is this is bias. You cannot convince somebody that has an obvious bias to see a different way. They're not going to release their bias. Even if you're presenting facts and statistics, you're supposed to be able to, if you know what you're talking about, you're supposed to take that into your conversation, say, yeah, you know what? That is true. You know, but let me tell you something. And the Bucs don't have a hold on the division like that for them to be even feeling like that. So if your offensive line is in shambles and you're a quarterback that's basically a statue back there, and you got the Saints, who they say is one of the top defenses in the NFL, going against your sieve-ass offensive line, well, you tell me how that's going to work. You tell me how that worked. That froth in the mouth son of a gun right there. Frothing at the mouth. To uphold Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. To uphold him. Frothing at the mouth with pure outright bias. We got Julio Jones. He gonna do some stuff for y'all. But not Mike Thomas not. Jarvis Landry not. Chris Olave's not. Deontay Harty's not. Taysom Hill is not. Elvin Kamara is not. Okay. This is what I'm saying. In the Who Dat Nation, see, they used to be able to get away with this stuff because we didn't have a way to fire back at them. But now we got a way to fire back at them. We got something for you rotten asses this time around. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been being dominated by the Saints for several years. It wasn't just the last couple of years that we beat on the Buccaneers like that. We've been beating the Bucs badly over the last several years. That's why a lot of the Buc people have a hot, heated relationship with the Saints where they sitting up there, F the Saints and all this kind of old stuff. F the Saints. And I'm like, why y'all saying that? Because y'all used to kick our tail. I was like, well, dude, don't get mad because we was doing our job, but we were supposed to be, let you make it. We were supposed to let you make it. Thank you, Scooby. Says Q Stephen A is all about spewing a sensationalist. Yeah, high shock value, no regard for fact. And people are calling that out and see that is starting to wear because in the age that we going into, shock value like that is far and few. That plastic old tool, that guy's a dinosaur up there. That old school antiquated way of trying to get people out there with the information, that's no needed. We live in a world where it's devoid of a lot of facts. And when the truth come out, it's way more damaging and way more impressive than a bunch of shock crap, you know? So this is just more of the same. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Jacoby, thank you for your super chat, bro. He says, it's funny how he says he has questions about Jameis, but forgets to mention we swept the Bucs with Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian. Absolutely. Jacoby, I'm sorry, brother. Thank you, Jacoby. Thank you for the super chat. Absolutely. And wonderfully said. We beat, and yes, right. Trump with what was it? The first time we beat them, they pulled Jameis down and hurt him, tore his legs up. Trevor Siemian went in there, a third string ass backup, and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Thank you, Brandon, for becoming a megastar, bro. Shout out to you, brother Brandon. Shout out, appreciate you, bro. And then the next time around, in the 9-0 sweeping of Tampa Bay that occurred, when we beat them 9-0, that was in their building. Tom Brady hadn't been swept in years prior to that happening. And then you did that with Taysom Hill, and not only that, brother Jacoby, brother Jacoby. Prior to that, I mean, in that fact, the top passer of the game wasn't Tom Brady. It was Taysom Hill. He had 111 yards. And so even without a quarterback, it's no excuse. They will omit and hide all of that still to uphold the point that Tom Brady is all powerful and that he can do all things. He can miss 11 days of training camp or working with his new teammates and get up in there and do that thing. Thank you, Tayno. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you for becoming a Pro Star, fam. Thank you. Absolutely amazing. And now I just want to point out the obvious bias because it's not really facts that they're presenting because the Saints overall are a better team. Now, had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers gotten Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu, they would have said book it. Any other team that's at the same that they considered around the Tampa Bay level, even if it was the Green Bay Packers, any team that would have gotten Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry together within days of each other would be a contending team. They would say that team right there is a contending team for the Super Bowl. But you a dark horse, and you got Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas that'll be back, Alvin Kamara, and all these people, but you still a dark horse. This is amazing. Ryan, thank you, bro. He says, hi, bro. How many Packers players got released today? Packers players? I don't know, Ryan. I don't know, my friend. I'm gonna have to check on that. I don't know. I don't know about the Packers, my friend. I appreciate the super chat, but I know we got a couple of black and golds that got released. But thank you for your super chat, fam. What's intriguing and interesting is I'm getting ready to leave y'all in 4 minutes. Thank you, family, for the super chats, fam. Much love to y'all. It's awesome to know the Who Dat Nation, the Great Saint Think Tank, is on top of this stuff. To understand that, listen, the way to get these guys away from us, because listen, that guy ain't trying to learn nothing. You just make fun of him. That's all you can do. But guys, I remember guys like Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, Dan Ovlarski, and many others, even Phil Simpson. All these guys were hardcore against the Saints, talking about them, putting them down. Now they all riding with the Saints, all of them. And that's because of you. That's because of me and us. And I continue pressure because I be seeing people in the comment section. They be in there cooking them. People be cutting our videos up and sending it to them. And we be baking them. Why? Because you can't, if you're a person that's supposed to be building your career or your focus around fact telling, then you can't get around the facts of what we shooting out. Now I can get up here and start talking black and gold all day, but I got to keep it fair. You know, I know that I don't think we'll have an undefeated season. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you because I know, being that I know my squad, I know there'll be games during this season where our team which will be the better team, will go into the game and for whatever reason they don't show up. I've seen that before. Whatever reason, the offensive line will have several outings where they'll look off and won't be blocking and they look like they don't have no push, no poise. That'll happen. It'll be times where things look really, stuff like that start happening. You'll be like, what the hell going on? It's times like that when you see that they're not themselves. So I'm not going to sit up here and say they'll get every game last year. That's not realistic to me. I know that we'll win at least, I ain't gonna say at least, but the most I see us winning is maybe 13 or 14 games next year. Wouldn't be surprised if it's 15, but 13, 14 games, at least 11 games. You just got to keep Jameis upright in the game. Avoid as many injuries as we can because we deep. And then we should get at least 11 games. But we'll have a deep playoff run because that's what really we kind of focus on when we get to that point. And what's intriguing and interesting, I would like to see how we behave once we get to the playoffs. Can we still have that focus? Because far too often during the season, I wonder how Dennis Allen will handle Camp Saint, the little small things, over time. Because when we get to the playoffs, all that Camp Saint and playing all that, not Camp Saint, Club Saint, where they're in the club and they got the lights and they just dancing and popping, and that's cool in the regular season, but let's cut that out in the playoffs. We don't need all that in the playoffs. All that go out the window. Let's handle like business in the playoffs. Well, Dennis Allen kind of ratchet that thing now and say, listen, fam, let's act like we've been here in the playoffs. We got this win. Let's congratulate each other, but let's move on to the next one because we got business to handle in the next game. We don't need to be up in here partying like we won the Super Bowl in this here playoffs. You get me? In round one of the playoffs. That's one of the things I want to see how he handles as well. But anyway, yeah, Travis says, how many QBs threw for over 5,000? They're going to take that away from him all the way. And the thing is, too, like I said, they attack Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston don't fire back. He's an easy person to attack. He is, because he does not fire back. Like, if you load this, they don't dare attack Tom Brady because I really do think Tom Brady is paying for positive coverage. That's why you see most of these media operations uphold him as much as they do. They would not dare besmirch his name like they do a Jameis Winston. So if I was Jameis, my advice to you be, bro, start firing back, or start picking guys and say, that guy right there, that guy, I'm riding with that guy because that guy is protecting my media name, and no, I ain't gonna worry about it. No, don't do that, bro. These people are constantly attacking you. They don't like you. They're running these stories, and like they tear the Saints down by proxy because Jameis is the quarterback. Some of them are slick and they don't want to show they hatred for Jameis, but a lot of these people don't like Jameis Winston. They don't like him, and they'll write stories. The Saints ain't going nowhere. The Saints are a good team, but I don't know about the quarterback. He threw 30 interceptions, but don't say he threw 33 touchdowns and over 5,000 yards. You see, it's deceitful emotional reporting, which has no basis here. Don't do that. Go start a goddamn tabloid somewhere. Don't work for a media. Well, then again, ESPN is not a real sports agency, is it? That's an entertainment. That's Disney. Disney owns them. They done fired most of the people that know what they're doing when it comes down to real sports and put entertainment people over the top of that shit over there. Man, them people, them people a joke when they come down to commentating, NBA and otherwise. Man, a lot of that crap is garbage over there because they're in the entertainment business and not the sports business anymore. They done changed everything up. But anyway, that's my thought on it, man. I'm going to get ready to leave y'all right now. I'm going over to Patreon. So listen, I appreciate you guys for hollering in. Much love to the fam. I don't usually pop up here on Tuesday, but I just had to go on this and kind of run through this old balding bastard right quick and set the record straight like I'm going to continue to do. Anytime you fall at the Who Dat, you throw at the Who Dat Nation, you fire at the Great Saint Think Tank with this BS out there, I'm going to fire you back and sink you to the bottom of the drink. Because obviously he riding with him. And Tom Brady is an excellent quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but Tom Brady can't win by his damn self. He ain't blocking for himself. I mean, cut that out, man. Tom Brady, I don't care how great you think he is. He's not blocking for himself. He needs people to block for him. And if you got people that don't like you talking that crap about you, they're going to come for you. So all you're doing is serving him up a hot plate of whoop ass that he going to eventually have to eat. That's all you're putting a big ass check that he can't cash. Bottom line, that's what you're doing. Anytime you open up your mouth and show obvious bias and call and insult the Who Dat Nation by saying that they're a dark horse team or that they're a sneaky team, they might sneak up on the NFL. The Saints gonna sneak up on you. No. The Saints don't need to sneak up on you. The Saints have players that are big time professional players. I just got to keep saying it. How can you be a sneaky team with Tyrann Mathieu? How could you be a sneaky team with Jarvis Landry, Mike Thomas, Elvin Kamara, Ryan Ramczyk, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore? I mean, come on. How could you be sneaky? How are you sneaking up on or a dark horse team with all that going on? It's all good. We're gonna shatter all that shit, man. I promise you that much. We're gonna shatter that here. But much love to the fam. Listen, I thank y'all for tuning in. Please feel free if you want to join me tonight and the rest of the family members to help out the platform. Just do like Brother Tano do. You can go to the link tree and you can find out how to join up for Patreon. It's very cheap, inexpensive. Don't cost a lot of money. We got stuff for like, I think it's $5 a month to join, or something might be very economical for some people. You can get access to all the lock content via Patreon or as a YouTube membership. There's also merch that's a fix that helps the platform out as well. And with that being said, I have several other reactions we're gonna go through, and plus the news notes of today's camp on our Patreon special. So with that being said, I'm gonna holler at y'all later on Wednesday, fam. Much love. I love y'all. Y'all keep y'all heads up, and I'm gonna holler at y'all later. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees are Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Who that say they gon' beat them? Say, who that? Who that?
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform stores where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to